rocking in the free world.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
How's it going all? Alright, so one of the questions I get asked all the time is, don't you ever get hassled for, having a beer in your van or drinking a glass of wine or whatever it is? And this is one of those things where it's really going to depend where you live. A lot of things that you'll see on my channel are relevant to this area because this is the area I live. For example, I did the video on filling up water the other day. Now you can use gas stations and lots of public water hose places, even at the gas station where I use the rubber hose to fill up water. Right next to it there's an actual tap, and you can just use the actual tap if you want. Or you can drive around and find, like I found in that video, an industrial building and find some water. And there were some comments from people. I noticed they were all in the USA. Oh, but who pays for that water? Isn't that stealing? It's a very different mentality where you are than where I am. I don't think it's a national thing, country to country. It's probably just even city to city, it's a different mentality. Around here, if I literally went to that building, found the business owner and asked them, hey, can I use your hose for 30 seconds? They would laugh at me and wonder why I'm asking them. They just want me out of their face. Go ahead, use the water, just don't bother us. That's the mentality it is around here. So when I tell you something on this channel, you have to understand it's only relevant for where I live. If you're somewhere in Africa where people have to walk, 20 kilometers a day just to get water, obviously it's going to be different there than it is here. And that can be the case in a different city too. So if you're in a place where water isn't freely available everywhere, then it's obviously no relevance to you. That being said, one of the questions I get, again, is about drinking a beer, having a glass of wine, well, in my van part. All right, so one of the things that's very important to do here, maybe not where you are, but here in BC, is that you have your RV registered legally as an RV. Now, if it's a factory motorhome conversion, such as this, it's already registered as an RV with ICBC. So your registration insurance says it is a motorhome. If you convert your own van or whatever vehicle into an RV because you put sleeping quarters, kitchen facilities, whatever in there, in a lot of places, it's very important that you go to your state, province, whatever it is, your insurance agent, and get it switched to RV insurance for a couple of reasons. Well, the reason people do it around here, they convert their vans. You need at least 3 things according to ICBC. I believe it's a sleeping quarters, you need a sink, and you need a stove or something like that. You don't need a shower, all that. But as long as you get at least 3 things that they have listed out, installed in your van, permanently installed. It can't just be sitting there on the floor. You have to have a stove permanently installed, things like that. Now they will switch it to a motorhome on your registration and your insurance. So it's no longer just a passenger vehicle or whatever it is, or whatever it was before. Once you do that, your insurance is cheaper. Everyone in BC knows this, so all the people with their homemade camper vans, the first thing they want to do is switch their registration insurance to motorhome because you get cheaper rates. And it's because there aren't that many RVs involved in accidents as opposed to red sports cars, right? So it kind of makes sense. Now, again, it's going to vary depending on where you live, but if you're in BC and you pay less than $1,000 a year for insurance, that's considered very cheap. I have the highest possible discounts I can get because I have a perfect driving record. I've never had an accident in my life. And I pay around $90-95 a month. And that's about half the price of, I'd say, the majority of people driving commuter cars to work every day here. So to me, that's my rent, $90-something a month. It's cheap. I know in some places it's much more expensive than that. In other places it's cheaper, but economies are different everywhere you go, right? So it's not really fair to compare here compared to, say, some state on the other side of the continent. there's all sorts of factors that play into that. But just for simplicity's sake, if you switch your RV to proper RV insurance, because if you build your own stove and sink and put a bed in it, it is an RV. You can call it whatever you want, it's still an RV legally once you do that and you switch the insurance over. So now you have cheaper insurance, but you also have some more rights and privileges afforded under the law. And one of them is the open alcohol aspect, or even storing alcohol. In an RV, a registered RV, that could be a Volkswagen Westphalia van. Those are registered RVs. They're considered motorhomes legally. So is a luxury Winnebago or a Greyhound bus conversion. It's all the same under the law. You can have alcohol stored as long as it's not stored within reach of the driver's seat. So you can't be in the front cab, obviously, with booze. Makes sense, right? But I'm going to read you something. This is legal. This is right off the drivesmartbc.ca website, which is the website for all the rules and regulations under the Motor Vehicle Act. Somebody asks, I was wondering about drinking in a motorhome and its legality. I understand the definition of motorhome from the Motor Vehicle Act. I further understand that a person must not drive or otherwise exercise control over the operation of a motor vehicle. Again, the front cab is considered a motor vehicle under government rules. The back is a house. Remember that. The law states that alcohol can be in a motorhome, but the liquor must be kept in a cabinet away from the driver's area. Does this mean that passengers in the RV cannot drink alcohol at all? Now, it all comes down to whether the motorhome or other RV is being used as a dwelling or not. If it is not being used as a dwelling, you are correct, no one can legally consume the alcohol, right? So, it first has to be registered as an RV or motorhome. It's the same thing. And second, you have to legally declare that you're living in the damn thing. If you ever get stopped or harassed or questions asked, okay? Legally, okay? Once you stop driving the RV and park it to use for camping purposes, it becomes a residence under the law. As soon as I park, take the key out of the ignition, and I'm sitting in the back having a beer, it is legally a residence. It is my personal private dwelling. And it's now perfectly legal to consume liquor in my van. Now, if this was registered as a regular cargo van or passenger van or whatever else, it cannot be my legal residence. It cannot be a dwelling as far as the eyes of the law are concerned. You see what I'm saying? So it's very important that when you build your own RV, you go to ICBC and you get that registration switched and you make it a legal RV. Usually they send someone out from the insurance office to make sure you have the requirements to make it a legal RV before they'll give you the proper registration. But you're going to get cheaper insurance and you're going to be able to crack a beer in the back after work. All right, it's simple as that. Now, you may not want to have the keys in the ignition. That's a gray area, but most factory motorhomes have the stereo wired separately, so you do not have to turn the ignition to listen to music or something like that. But now, the catch-22 of this is, in many cities, including Vancouver and all sorts of cities across North America, they have bylaws against living in your vehicle. And they don't care what kind of vehicle, whether it's a motorhome or not. So, yes, you want to register as a motorhome, then you can have your beer, but you're basically admitting that you're breaking the city bylaws and ordinances against living in your vehicle. So that's the gray area there, and that's where you're going to, depending on where you live, you might have problems. Around here, even though there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people living in their vehicles, and they do have laws against that, I have never seen an actual ticket handed out for living in your van. I have seen many warning notices, mostly over a decade ago. I haven't seen any of late. Nowadays, they just go, I don't think they want that in court because it'll probably get thrown out of court and the cities are worried about losing that bylaw. So they don't really enforce it. What they can do is put signs up everywhere and enforce parking bylaws, time limits, no overnight parking, vehicle length restrictions, things like that. That's how they get you. It's not about laws against living in your van. It's making sure that they pass laws so that you can't park somewhere overnight or you can't park a vehicle over a certain length. And even in some cities in the States, I've heard, if you're too high, they'll give you tickets. Things like that. So it's really important to know the rules where you happen to live or where you're planning to reside in your vehicle. And anything I tell you here on this channel may not be relevant where you are. I'm just telling you the way it is for me. All right, have a pint for me. We'll see you at CamperCon on September 3rd in Vancouver. Can't wait. Keep on rocking in the free world. And by the way, this is how you get your stickers. You send me your Keep on Rockin' in the Free World or Make Van Life Great Again, depending on which sticker you want. Send it to me. The email is listed below in the description of this video. Send me your clip. Make sure you include your mailing address and I'll send you off a sticker.
Keep on rocking in the free world.